Hi guys, welcome again to another episode of TFD, the Failures Diary podcast. I'm very excited to be here. We have had several episodes now. As you are aware, we are here to discuss about challenges, setbacks, all the travails that people have had, everyday people, business people, leaders, emerging leaders have had on their journey, and how younger people or you and I can take lessons from that, so that you know that you are not alone in whatever challenge that you are facing right now, whatever it is that you are going through that is affecting your mental health, that is making you want to give up. So you can know that you are not alone on that journey, and people that seem like got everything going on for them also have had these challenges at some point of their lives. I'm here today with a very interesting lady. I can assure you, you would learn a whole lot from Oyin today. Oyindamola Egbeyemi is the Director of Programs at Lagos State Employment Trust Fund, LSETF. Oyin, it's good to see you here.
It's nice to be here. Thank you for having me, Ayo.
Thank you, Oyin. So, Oyin, we came up with this because there are so many podcasts out there, so many platforms, so many social media posts that, fancy cars. Today, somebody's buying a Benz. Tomorrow, somebody is moving into a new house, 100 million Ds. People are just talking about success stories everywhere. Mm-hmm. And then you see young people getting depressed that, I'm not having this going on well. My boss today has put me through hell, this, that. So we thought, let people come and tell us some of the challenges they've had, so that people can see that there are other sides to life, right? It's not always all soft and rosy. So let's start with you telling us about your journey and how you've gotten here. Where did you start from, and what did you do today?
The starting point is very difficult to determine, but I think what I'll talk about what I guess the start of a transformation for me, and this is when I was going to university. Now, I went to school in Nigeria up until secondary school, and of course my parents being who they are, they wanted me to go abroad for A-levels and university. Now, I went to a really good school for my A-levels, but one thing that I noted at the school was that diversity wasn't really a diverse group of people in my school. And of course, I tried to be friends with as many Nigerians as I could be. Now, it was a challenge then because I was going to say I was very smart, but I think I'm still very smart. And
You're going to say was.
Yeah, so I was a very smart and well-behaved student. So I don't think that really went down well with some other people because I was a teacher's favorite. I've always been a teacher's favorite. And then when I got to my A-level school, it was a very different dynamic because it was a different kind of school, different curriculum, different country, different dynamics. And I remember when I was applying to university during my A-levels, and my house mother then told me specifically, categorically, that I should not apply to the top universities.
Wow.
Yes. And I was like,
wow.
Omo Egbeyemi, like, how would
That's
I?
insane.
Yeah. She said, Oyin, you can't apply to the top universities. I don't think you have the grades that would meet up with the requirements. And I was like, you know what? I kind of like it when people tell me I can't do something, because that is actually when I go ahead and do it. So with that and all the other, I'll summarize many of the other things I was going through. A bit of bullying, a bit of, I won't say racism, but ignorance, in combination with my house mother's words that said, do not apply to the top universities. You would think that someone who is soft-spoken and well-behaved like me would listen and say, okay, I'll just obey because an adult is telling me that I shouldn't do something I know is going to be good for me. So I went ahead and I applied to all the top universities for my course. And guess who got all her offers first from all the universities she applied to?
Wow.
Me.
So what did you, did she know? What did she say?
So I just said, okay. So sometimes you don't need to argue with anyone.
Yeah.
You just say, okay.
Yeah.
But you need to have that conviction and confidence in yourself that
To
you can
do it
actually do
anyway.
it. And one thing I would say is you also need to have, well, for me, I always had at least one person that believed in me, apart from my family, because my family is super supportive. But I had a personal tutor, Dr. Lewis, may his soul rest in peace, who supported me all the way. He'd never said anything negative about me wanting to apply to the top universities. And he helped me with my personal statement and my application. And I got through. So I would say that was a
that
monumental.
Must have been a really,
yeah, that was monumental because I'm very happy with the university I went to. And that, because of that, I've been able to use that as a leverage in other aspects of my career. I still talk about the uni I went to, and people still seem to be impressed by it. So I know that that's.
I mean, you should tell us the uni you went to. Let us hear it.
Yeah, I went to Imperial College London, which is pretty much the top university for engineering in the world. Yeah. And I studied chemical engineering.
And you did that was the grade that you had.
I got a 2-1, but as far as I'm concerned, a 2-1 at Imperial is like a first class anywhere else.
Of course, yes, it's a very good grade.
We worked really hard. And I know the career prospects that having that degree actually gave me a foot into some doors.
Launching pad.
Yes, so it gave me a launching pad. So I'm super grateful for that experience. Since then I didn't actually have a career in engineering apart from my NYSC because I had wanted to do something to help people and make an impact. Back when I was much younger, I didn't know exactly what it was I wanted to do, but I just knew who I wanted to be in terms of a person that would help. So consulting seemed to be the logical progression from then. I was at Chevron doing my NYSC in engineering, and then I did a pivot to Accenture, where I started in consulting. It was a 3-month internship, and then I got the offer from PwC.
So you were at Accenture before we met in PwC?
Yes. I was at Accenture for a couple of months, and then I got the offer from PwC, I think in my 3rd month at Accenture. And when I had the offer, I was like, you know what, let me go on a vacation because I know that when PwC comes as well, it's going to be intense work. So
meanwhile, I met Oyin about 15, 13, 14 years ago.
Oh, wow.
You know, at PwC. These years go by so fast, right?
Yeah, 13 years ago.
By the time you look at it now, it's before you know it, it's 20 years.
Yeah.
You know, so let's talk about that because I know that PwC was a challenge, right?
Yes.
Tell us about some of the professional setbacks you've had and some of the experiences that you had at that time that got to you really badly.
Okay. I would say the first setback, which turned out to be a blessing, was working out of state. Yeah, which is where I met you. So, first time working and living outside of Lagos. I mean, the only times I had ever gone out of Lagos within Nigeria was to Ibadan for Christmas because my grandma lived in Ibadan. But apart from that, I mean, there was never any reason for me to be outside of Lagos because most of my family is in Lagos and my family's businesses are in Lagos. So as soon as I got to PwC in September, I think by October, they were like, oh, do you want to go? And I was very keen as well because I was going around asking for work, not knowing that work was waiting for me in Calabar. And they're like, I think it was the thing of, so this one wants to work. Let's throw
to the wilderness,
into the deep end. So I was in Calabar for 10 months. I met you there. You were there you kind of handed over to me.
I think that I did. Yeah, I handed over to you, you know, and Shola and all of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was quite an experience. First challenge. There was a particular manager on that project that was very difficult to please, not because the work wasn't good, but in my opinion, because she decided not to look at it as being good. And I can say that now because as a manager and a director, I don't believe that anyone's work is useless. I believe that there's always area for improvement, and I believe that there's always substance in anything that anyone puts an effort to as long as they understand it. Yeah. And as a manager, if you're not able to have your team understand the work, you have also failed. Exactly. So that's what I would say as that's been a key challenge.
So I know that at that time you were not the only one who had that challenge. You know,
it was not just me.
It wasn't. In fact, somebody reached out to me a few months ago. Same person who had a similar challenge, and that person never bounced back.
The same manager.
Yeah, same manager. The person left. You know, out of frustration, and the person never just got his feet so well.
Yeah,
you know, and it was. So when you left, did you leave because of those circumstances?
Yes.
And oh, really?
Yes. And again, I can see that now because I'm happy with where I am, but my dad had always said you shouldn't leave an organization because of a person. And that has always been like his own principle. But at that time, he allowed me to leave because of a person. Because it's like, if this is affecting you emotionally, mentally, then you're not going to be able to give it your best. And I think that is something that we should not overlook in the workplace. It's something that I talk about a lot at work now, because you don't want to take people's emotional well-being for granted. Because you're spending in a day. Yes, okay, well, I hope people spend at least 6 hours sleeping. But you're spending...
Let's pretend that we spend...
Yes, at least 6 hours sleeping. If you're spending about 10 to 12 hours of your day at work, you should be happy where you're working. You should feel like you're contributing to the objectives of meaningful work. I understand that work circumstances are a little different these days, to be honest, because many people are working to survive. And there's that balance between survival and really enjoying the impact or fulfilling a certain objective for yourself as well. But the least that any organization should do is make sure that the environment is friendly. Maybe not friendly, but it is conducive.
Yeah.
It's conducive
relatable
enough. It's relatable. People's voices are heard, no matter what it is. Even if someone might complain about a certain thing on a certain day, it might not be indicative of that particular thing that they are talking about. It might be an indication of certain environmental factors that they may not even be able to articulate. So it's something I'm quite conscious of. I'm not saying I'm the perfect manager or director, but
I mean, given where your own history, so
given my history. In fact, I've had a challenge even at my family business. That one, I think that was even worse, because I'm the child of a business owner. I know sometimes in the cultural context of things, coming in as the child of the business owner who has worked with people that have been at the organization since I was in school, it came with a certain particular type of
prejudice.
Prejudice, and let me just put it in plain words, like, who does she think she is?
Yeah.
And for me, I'm like, well, my parents have paid for a certain type of education for me, and I'm coming here to add value, and there's inevitably a succession plan. So I think it's important that people come to terms with that as well. What I like the way Italians run family businesses.
Yes, Italians are probably the best at it, and Israelis.
Yes, Italians, Israelis, many of the Middle Eastern
Arab,
businesses, the Jews as well. Because I think there's already that understanding that, look, if a person's child is coming into the business, that is your boss. And it doesn't mean that me being the child that is the boss has to have a certain attitude, because you have to look at certain characteristic traits that even define what your readiness is like to take over that business. So parents also need to be conscious of that. But I think my parents have done a good job.
I think I should be engaging you for a lot of work that we do in the family business structuring kind of thing.
Yeah, it's a difficult one. I'm not going to lie. It's not just the teachers, even some of the parents. I had one parent actually say categorically in an email that, not in an email actually, like in a meeting, that we get along with Mrs. Egbeyemi. Yes, we get along with the head of school, but Oyin doesn't. She gave me feedback in a way that made me feel like we don't understand your place here.
Wow.
So so during that meeting, I had to assert my position. I let her know that, look.
How did those things make you feel?
I've gone through a mental health crisis. I think in 2021 was when I actually crashed, and I had to look for help, because sometimes people might not really understand what's going on, and they may not be able to relate. So you might need to seek some professional help or consulting that would affirm that your feelings are valid, and support your recovery process and make you feel comfortable in the work environment that you're in. So yes, there's been a whole spectrum of,
and a lot of people will be looking at you from outside that, she's got it all sorted, she doesn't have issues.
So one thing that I need to recognize one of my mentors for, Mrs. Funke Fowler Amber, she's the director of Vivian Fowler Memorial College. She's actually like she was actually one of the people that carried me through the pandemic until now. Even just up until last night, we still had like a little mentorship exchange. And one thing that she had told me when we were going through a very horrible situation at my family business was, if you cannot control the situation, you don't need to show it on your face what you're going through, and you need to get on with other things. Otherwise, you're going to miss out on opportunities to engage, opportunities to even expand your business. So you need to start to compartmentalize your challenges and address them by what you have control over, and know that you give it your best. And for those that you don't have control over, for those who are religious, I'm very religious, just leave it in God's hands, and somehow things will work out. Even where I am now, there have been some immense challenges. And again, I was just talking to another one of my colleagues who I'm quite close to, and I was like, see how this thing just worked itself out. We did our best, but God came through. So I would always tell people that just give it your best. Don't give up at every speck of a challenge. Yes, you're human and you feel things, you see things, you feel things, but try to rise above. Well, that's actually my new catchphrase now. Like rise above, and look at your career with a grand scheme perspective, and try to understand what the position the organization is placed in your career, as opposed to where you are placed in the organization.
Yeah. So focus on the big picture.
Big picture. What do you want for yourself? Who do you want to be?
And how does where I am now fit
into that? Yeah.
As against where I am within the current state.
Yeah, within the current state, and being bogged down by the situation. Again, if it's a situation that's really becoming toxic and you cannot handle, I would say leave.
You take a walk.
You take a walk. You don't need to endure so much pain and be resilient. I think Nigerians, we love to endure pain. And
maybe it's also because there are no, very few people have options really.
Yeah, to be honest.
Because to be honest, you have to build resilience to be able to survive. Otherwise, you would realize that I wrote something recently that if you don't have a backup plan, I mean, you took a walk, and I was going to ask you, bring me to my next question, that when you left PwC, what had happened? What did you do?
Yes. So to be honest, I didn't really have a solid backup plan. All I knew was that I have, I'm smart, I have good education, and I have faith, and I'm not going to give up. I wasn't really brought up to give up. Things will find their way of working out as long as I am persistently looking for opportunities. So I didn't have a job, and I applied for business school. That didn't work out.
I wanted to go to business school.
I wanted to go to business school. I applied to NYU and Yale. I didn't do very well in my GMAT, to be very honest. I don't think. But
that's strange for an engineer.
I know, right? So I think to be very honest, I have exam anxiety. I think I got examination anxiety as an adult. So
I'm very happy you're sharing this.
I'm not
so
a
lot
good
of young
test
people can
taker.
see that. Look, I mean, people can not do well at something and admit it. It doesn't make you a failure at anything.
In fact, you need to fail.
Yes.
Before you can be successful. How would you learn if you don't fail? And again, nothing is perfect. The people who you see on all these podcasts you're talking about the great life,
the
great life. I mean, don't be fooled by everything you see. I think you should be confident and secure enough in yourself to know that even if I'm not, and also define what success means to you. Because success to some people is having a Bentley or something. Success to some people is having a house in Ikoyi. Success to some people is having a family and a solid base. It depends on what your own definition of success is. You need to define it on the basis of what you want and not what society dictates.
Otherwise you would never be happy.
And what really makes you happy? I think it was, I can't remember who quoted this. You see all these things on Instagram, but it was Heath Ledger, the actor who passed away when he was playing, after he played the role of Joker. He said people always ask you what you do for a living, if you're married, and there's something else, but nobody really ever asks you about whether or not you're happy. And that's really struck a chord with me. So for me, it's a thing of, am I happy doing what I'm doing? And if I can answer that and say yes, then I'm fine. So with my job right now, I love my job. I love the impact that the programs that I run can make on people. Things are not perfect. Things can also never be perfect in the workplace, but how can I also be a change agent with the position I hold, and also being a manager of people? It's very, very important to just have perspective on all those things.
So,
Yeah.
I'm trying to situate. So I understand some of the challenges you had in the context of, she's we don't know her place. Who does she think she is? Because she's family, she's this. But let's talk about environment outside of the family, especially now that you are in leadership in public sector.
Yeah.
Have you had challenges where people just undermine you because you're single, or because you're young, or because you're a woman? Those kind of things.
I would say that I am sure I have. But I'm getting somewhere with this. I am sure I have, but because I know I'm good at my job, I don't even
dwell on it.
I don't even notice it sometimes. Maybe after a meeting I'll be like, this person tried me. But if you come in, so my dad always says that information is power. If you know your stuff, nobody can dispute what it is that you have to say. So that is your confidence. Make sure you're always well informed. Make sure you're always a step ahead. And even when you don't know things, be confident in asking questions.
Exactly.
And affirm what you're thinking about things. If you're not sure of something, you can say, I'm not sure about it yet, but I'm going to do my findings and come back to you. And always keep to your word, because that is your integrity. That is your name that you're protecting. So I think that's the confidence I have. Because, of course, the biases are there. I hear it all the time. I mean, I look way younger than I am. You said it before I came in. So it's a thing of, I didn't know that she could talk like that too. I've heard it as feedback after a meeting I left one day, when someone, at least he was kind enough to come back and say, when you left that meeting, I was just like, how is the rest of the team going to carry the standard that you set, because it was such a high standard? And I'm like, well, I'm just doing my work, and I look at my work as, this is my purpose, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't carry it like I'm the director of programs at LSETF, so I don't know if you get what I'm saying.
You don't carry the chip on your shoulder.
I don't carry it with the chip on my shoulder, because I'm not working for myself. I'm not working for the glam or for the benefits of the office, so to speak. I'm working for the people. And if the people are not being reached, then I wouldn't feel like my job is being done.
That's right.
So that's what I go with. I try to keep informed. I try to reach out to the stakeholders who are involved directly. I think it's very important to form certain connections with people to understand the work in the fullest of its contexts, because the theoretical work where you sit down behind the desk, do your research, get your findings, prepare reports, prepare letters, and so on and so forth. But there's also like going on the field, listening to the beneficiaries, talking to the stakeholder, understanding their interests, because everyone has a different interest. Everyone has a different, what's that? There's the graph in business school that we always, the level of impact and interest.
Yes.
That impact and interest matrix.
Influence now or influence?
Influence.
Yes.
Sorry, it's influence. High impact. High impact. Sorry.
Exactly.
Influence and impact.
Stakeholder matrix.
Stakeholder
matrix. High impact, low influence.
So important. You need to understand it, especially when you're actually literally working in the impact space. It's not about the glam. It's about the work. Is the work effective? Are you going into meetings?
Is it reaching those?
Are you going into meetings just to talk because your voice can be the loudest in the room, or are you actually going into meetings to look for actionable points or to improve on the work that is already ongoing? So I have that mindset of, what can we do to do better, and also be open to feedback. That's one thing. That is one thing that I find that many people get defensive around, and for me, I'm like, look, I don't know everything. I can't know everything. I can learn from anyone from any age group, as long as you give your feedback respectfully. That is what I would say. If you cannot give your feedback respectfully, that is a reflection on your own character. And I'll try to ignore it and avoid, contact with you by any way, shape or form whatsoever. There are many people you can talk to. So being open to that feedback and putting the feedback into context of the work and seeing what is implementable. Yeah, so I would say that's.
I mean,
that
this
also helps.
this has been absolutely profound. I mean, I'm shocked because, you know, I never knew when you left PwC that you didn't even have a background. I thought maybe you left. I had left already.
Oh yeah,
so
you left before me.
Yeah.
So you heard that I left.
Yeah, I heard that you left, and
Yeah.
I can't remember if I reached out at that time, but
Yeah.
you know, I knew the circumstances that made you,
Many
because
people reached out.
it was really bad.
Yeah.
You know, it was really bad, and I think this is a major message to young people that and emerging managers also, that you know, how ultimately how are you able to make people get better? Leadership doesn't have to be destructive.
It's absolutely doesn't have to, because I mean, we can only build a nation if leadership starts from like within your own immediate environment. And I'm even talking about the family units. You have to build people up. You have to pull people up the ladder. We're always saying this about women. Unfortunately, it's women I've always had problems with in my career.
That is a conversation that if we go in there,
let's not even start it.
Oh my!
Funny thing is that all my nemesis, they've all been women, but also my greatest supporters have also been women.
Yeah.
My current boss right now, and I'm going to give her a shout out, Feyi Shayo.
Please, we still need to bring Feyi to this.
We need to bring Feyi to this podcast.
I think Feyi has been the most amazing ES that sits at the LSETF. It's incredible.
Yeah, so Feyi leads with empathy, and I don't. Sometimes I'm like, how does this woman have the capacity? Because she gets a lot of basketballs from different corners. I mean, she tells me about some of them, but I'm like, how are you managing? Like, she has children, she has a husband, she has a whole life. She's super organized about every compartment of her life. Yet she's still able to listen to you. She's able to talk to you. If you call Feyi and say, Feyi, I need to talk and I just want to rant, you can literally just talk to her and rant without feeling judged. Like, how many female leaders can we really say we have like that? So super grateful for her. Super grateful for our Sheyi.
Yeah,
yes.
Sheyi is amazing.
Sheyi, I mean, like when I had those challenges at PwC, Sheyi
was also my coach. I think
she
I was the one that told
you recommended Sheyi to me, and I remember the first conversation, she was like, Oyindamola, okay, no worries. And then one day she just came to me, I was like, I just like you. And guess what? Her son was born on my birthday.
Wow.
So our stars aligned.
You need to buy me a gift for that. I mean, please, guys. I think importance of mentorship and coaching.
It's so important. You can give people. In fact, there's sometimes I look at some of my officers or associates who work, and I'm like, this work, wow. But I wouldn't give you feedback in a way that you feel like, what did I do? There's a way you give feedback that a person feels uplifted by the manner in which you approach it. And that's a level of emotional intelligence. I'm sorry, but many people don't have it. And it is destroying organizations. It is really destroying organizations. You can give harsh feedback and even make a joke at the end of it and be like, look, I gave you this feedback, but I'm just trying to... And it doesn't have to be emotional. It doesn't have to be personal. It's about the work. It's about the work and how you can improve on yourself and on the work itself so that you can become a better leader one day yourself. I had many people, I'll say Sheyi, there's also a Shuli, you didn't meet Shuli at PwC, but Shuli also amazing leader. These are women leaders who they've really helped like build my own confidence as a leader as well, and make me aware, very conscious of the fact that for everyone who works under me, they need to feel seen, they need to feel heard, and they need to feel like their opinions matter. They need to feel like they're being carried along in decision-making processes of the organization. Otherwise, they will not feel like they're a part. They may not feel like they're a part of the organization. So it's a lot of work. It's a lot of people work. Oh my! But it's worth it at the end of the day.
To be honest, if not because we've run out of time, I could have gone on and on.
We have run out of time. Yes.
Thank you so much, Oyin, for joining us.
Thank you very much, Ayo,
it's been an amazing conversation. I'm glad that you are here where you are today, because I know how difficult it was back in the day when, you know, we would cry and be like, what is going on here?
Did I cry? I cried. Yes,
of course, only you cried.
I don't know. I cried in the country senior partner's office when I was resigning. because I had to see him.
Wow.
I cried, and
It broke you completely.
Yeah, no, it really broke me, and I know how those feelings were they were immense, and I think it's good to talk about.
I even know men
Yeah.
that the person I said reached out to me is the man. He's a guy. He's a grown man now.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy was my senior, so he clearly should be about 40. Yes.
Yeah.
So it broke him completely. Destructive leadership where if the person is not at times also lucky or strong-willed, it can mar the person's career.
Yeah.
So it's in fact, I had a friend that this same manager sort of detoured the person's journey, and the person had to find another alternative career outside.
Yeah.
So it's extremely important that I'm very glad that you've shared this with us, and I'm very happy that you are where you are, and other people can listen to this and know that, look, whatever it is that you're facing now, do not let it affect you in a way that it mars your entire journey. I think how you've pictured it is the best. Don't let your situation in your organization today affect your overall big picture. You need to situate everything within the big picture and know that, look, there's a big picture of where I'm going. If it doesn't fit in, you exit and you keep it going. Thank you so much, Oyin, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. I'm so glad that you came. Ladies and gentlemen, remember to follow us across all our platforms, on Spotify, on Apple, on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Follow the Failures Diaries podcast. And I'll see you again on the next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye.